Nhớ rong Shara Columbia Yashang Elizabeth Lau, Nanoyo Nhớ rong Ramsey County. Tito Minnesota tàu cho chạy she cannabis lấy sa trong linh chứng mua lúa cho tia cho chạy nó hơi rong li cha. Theo bé yo ba bé lu jo mua cái nhà sinh li cha. Nô nó bé rong shia tại tàu Jennifer Winmore, lòng the Ramsey County Public Health tôi đã bé tham chính gì. Thank you so much, Jennifer Winmore, for being here today to talk about cannabis.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So before we get to cannabis, I want to talk a little bit about who you are, what work you're doing at Ramsey County, and why cannabis education is so important. Onde be yo pi ta cho cannabis lo yo sa ko khem chi cho ko tu king thia ko cho ho lu nyo don the Ramsey County.
Yes, so I am the cannabis coordinator at Public Health at Ramsey County. I've been with the county for 5 years, but doing this work for 2 years. It's a very new industry, very new topic matter that affects our community. I'm really interested in this work because I have personal connections to cannabis. I also know that there is a lot of like nuances with cannabis as far as like racial equity and health and keeping us safe. So all those things I really wanted to make sure that there's someone there that can address those lived experiences in the education that we provide to our community.
Can you talk a little bit more about your specific roles and responsibilities as it relates to cannabis?
Yeah, so we are responsible for a grant from the state of Minnesota. It's called the Cannabis and Substance Prevention Use Grant. And so our goal is to provide evidence-based information to our residents, to give them information to make safe choices on if they should use cannabis or not, and then also just general information to keep them informed of the possible impacts.
Great, thank you. Can you talk a little bit more about the legalization of cannabis in Minnesota? What changed when it became legal? So Minnesota từ mua cho chạy she cannabis nó là có khem chuyện gì đó bé?
Yes, so cannabis is new in our state. Previously, we've had medicinal cannabis for about 10 years, but now adult use cannabis is available to individuals 21 and older. And so folks can legally possess, transport, and use cannabis. There are different restrictions and limitations to that. But cannabis remains illegal for individuals under 21 unless they are using it for medicinal purposes, and we can talk about that later. Although it is legal now, it doesn't mean that there aren't any risks to taking cannabis. And so we're here to make sure that folks understand the possible risks and harm. And so public education is really important. It affects everyone in your family potentially, and we want to make sure we have information that's catered to your community and to our needs.
So would cannabis usage then be similar to like how we would be responsible for alcohol use?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like there are other legal substances out there, but it doesn't mean that it's safe or that it's foolproof. And so we just need to understand like how those substances could impact us as we use it.
And you've already alluded to some of this, but what is Ramsey County's role in all of this? So I know this is a statewide legislation change,
Yes.
But at a county level, what does that look like for the work that's being done? So Haitsa Cannabis, not ye Ramsey County,
Yes, exactly. So the state is in charge of a lot of the legalization and the regulation. The county's role is just to make sure we provide information that's evidence-based and helpful for folks to understand how to live their daily lives knowing that this is a substance that is available for purchase. We want residents to understand the law, although we're not the legal entity, but we want people to understand like what are the general things that you need to know if you're using cannabis or you have someone in your family that is using cannabis. And the biggest thing with public health is just reducing harm. And so accidental poisoning, it's possible for children, infants, and pets to be poisoned by cannabis if it's not safely secured. And just wanting to make sure people can talk about this comfortably because it shouldn't be a taboo thing.
Yeah. So, what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about cannabis? Because there are a lot of different talks and probably misconceptions out there.
Yeah.
Can you just talk more about that? So, một cái từ我tin ninh phiền chung整个些有给做 cannabis 了啥？
Yes, so I mentioned it before. Legality does not mean that it is safe or it's okay to use. There are folks that use cannabis for many different reasons. There are folks that use it for relaxation, but then there's also individuals that use it for medicinal purposes. Some find it as a pain reliever or a way to address a lot of chronic issues that they might experience. So we just have to be careful when we're talking about cannabis and not being judgmental, like it's personal choice to use it. And then there's also different types of ways that you can consume cannabis. So a lot of folks know about the traditional way, which is smoking the flower. And then there's now different avenues like edibles, so like gummies or infusing it in food, and then also beverages. So, and then there's also different concentrates and all these things.
Like the potency of it.
Exactly, yeah. So, and the biggest takeaway is that the potency is much different than it was in the 70s, and there's a lot of different technologies that can make different additives or things like that to make it stronger. So you just have to be mindful of that.
And so the impacts and the effects of that would be different for each person. then as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So, cannabis can impact people differently. So you want to just be mindful if it's your first time using it, to be aware to start slow and to not ingest more if you haven't felt the impacts yet, because some cannabis can start showing impacts at 15 minutes, but edibles will take longer. So it could take up to 2 hours to feel the impact. So just be aware of that. And then also the duration of the high, quote unquote, that you might experience can differ. So you just have to make sure that you're aware of that while you're ingesting in the cannabis. I do also want to say that storing your cannabis is really important because it might impact pets and children if they get
safety of
access
the
to it.
home.
Exactly. So just thinking about that.
So let's talk a little bit more about that. So I know currently we as at Ramsey County, we have a Stash Smart campaign. Can you talk more about what that is and why it's important? So Stash Smart 猜理家特别理家你好 drinking.
Yeah, so we're bringing awareness to the fact that we need to lock up our cannabis substances and even prescribed medication because we don't want people who shouldn't be accessing it to access it. So it's possible that a child or pet could get into your cannabis, your edibles, or your beverages, and it causes a lot of health issues. So you can experience sleepiness or drowsiness, seizures, coma, like especially if you're accidentally ingesting this and ingesting a large amount of it. We don't want to see people harmed in this process. So what we're telling people is to make sure to lock your cannabis in a container or in somewhere that can't be accessible to children and pets, making sure that you keep your cannabis in the original packaging, because that also shares information about dosage and also it also identifies what it is too. And then just making sure that it's out of reach of individuals that should not be accessing it. And then cannabis edibles, they look like food or they look like drinks. So you want to make sure if you're having a party or at an occasion to make sure you keep it separate from food and drinks so that there isn't confusion about it. And some cannabis can look like candy. Some places,
Especially to children.
exactly,
Like gummies or something.
exactly, yeah. So we don't want there to be any confusion in eating those things, and it's just really important to keep that in mind to prevent access and encouraging to safe storage the materials.
So when we're talking about some of this information, we want folks to be up to date and educated about reliable information and not maybe get information that is inaccurate or maybe not up to date. Can you share more about where residents can go to learn more about this, if this is something that may impact their household? Cho nên nhớ học Ramsey County sa bao nhiêu cho cannabis lo yo sana ye lo ha mun tia có từ.
Yes, there's a lot of resources that we have. The St. Paul Ramsey County Public Health's website has information. You can reach us at ramseycountymn.gov/cannabis and health. And we also have our state partners that are also providing really good evidence-based information. The Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management, they have business and legal information there. Department of Health also provides information about data and campaigns and other information, in addition to a Cannabis 101 PDF. So a lot of good resources there. A lot of information still to be developed, so stay tuned for that.
And we'll also link some information too in the description, and we'll have a couple of different flyers in language, in the
Yes.
Hmong language too, which your department is able to do that. So thank you so much
Yes,
for that
of course.
information. So before we end the conversation today, I will definitely be having you back so we can do more of a deeper dive into cannabis and some of the other topics that I think are also really important to raise up in our community. But what message would you like to leave with the viewers today, or what are some takeaways that our viewers should be mindful about? So one day, bây giờ sau nó về, các bố mẹ bây giờ lu chơi bây giờ, bây sinh thế, or là chẳng ta tỏ sai bây giờ cái hay là chỉ đâu là.
Yes, so cannabis can be legal, but safety is a responsibility and a priority for all of us. So just being aware of that, making sure to lock and store your cannabis, keeping it in its original packaging. And then also talking about cannabis is really important. We shouldn't shy away from it. We should always have a conversation with our children, especially if you're locking up the items, you can explain to them why it's a problem rather than like having them, be curious about it. And it's okay to talk about. It's something we should be talking about and asking questions about.
And prevention happens best when you inform and educate everyone in your household, including the children in your household.
Yes,
So
exactly.
well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We've not had cannabis on the show before, but this is all really important information for Hmong residents and beyond. So we look forward to having you back so we could talk a lot more about this topic. And thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.